And welcome or welcome back to the dumpster fire that is our podcast. We're here to break the stigma against moms who smoke. My name is Paige. I'm a 23-year-old single mom of 2 kids and a cat. I'm a self-taught videographer and editor, and I've been smoking medicinally since I was 19 to help manage symptoms of borderline personality disorder. You may notice something different this week. We are missing Carolyn, and I will get into that in just a minute. Before I get started, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Moms Who Smoke Podcast, on Twitter at The Moms Who Smoke, and on Facebook we are Moms Who Smoke. Our podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor, and after each episode we release a survey on SurveyMonkey where you can anonymously leave any questions or comments you have for us. So, you'll notice that I'm missing someone slightly important considering she's 50% of the podcast. So I'm missing my co-host. Carolyn is not here this week, and that actually kind of ties into my topic for this week. So Carolyn is killing it with her business, which has made her schedule so much crazier, and she's having to balance her time between things. And right now the podcast is not on that list of priorities because she has got so many other things going on. And honestly, I think it's really dope that she can prioritize things like that and prioritize her energy and where her energy is going and what she's putting her focus on. And I really appreciate that about her. So this week it might be a little bit awkward. I'm all by myself. There's nobody to laugh at my awkward jokes or make fun of me. My eyeliner's a little off, but we're working with it. We're here. We are live on Thursday, and that's what matters. All right. So like I said, she's putting her energy where it is needed most, which is something that I think that we could all focus on just a little bit more. I think that we all are, not all, but many of us are go, go, go all the time, and we're not super conscious of where energy is going or what we're putting our focus on. One of my favorite quotes has always been, "What you feed will flourish." So it rings true in every aspect of life, but I don't think it's something that most people are fully conscious of. And with I don't know, that being one of my favorite quotes, I try to regularly ask myself things like, am I focusing on things I want to improve in my life? Am I taking care of myself? Is what I'm doing consistent with the life I'm trying to live? They sound like pretty broad questions, but when you're consistent, I feel that they open up your mind and it allows you to analyze from a broader perspective. And as I asked myself these questions, I became more aware of what I deem to be important in my life, things I enjoy doing, ways I feel accomplished, etc. And there was one similarity between all of these things, and that similarity was balance. So, what is balance? What does balance really mean? It's a pretty broad term, in my opinion, I guess. But balance is defined as a condition in which different elements are equal or in the correct proportions. Well, what exactly does that mean? So, for my life, that means finding a cohesive way to juggle children, finances, mental health, self care, chores, family, friends, and all the other aspects of my life without it feeling like a circus act. So, one of the biggest lessons that I have learned, both literally and figuratively in my life, is that you cannot have balance without a solid foundation. If you are not whole, healthy, and sound, that will throw off your balance. You cannot take care of all of these things when your foundation is not whole. This week, I wanted to share ways that I find balance and also some hobbies and things I do to contribute to my emotional and spiritual well being, which, spoiler alert, leads into next week and our special guest next week. But for me personally, daily and weekly routine is a huge part of balance in my life. It is essential to me to have similar days and weeks to keep myself stable and my mental health stable. So, kind of a breakdown of my daily routine for you guys is as follows. So, around 8:39 we wake up, I get the kids cereal, have tea and a smoke. This is the kids' kind of free TV time, but they wander around and play as they please. It's really not, I'm not set on certain things. At 9:30, 10ish, I make them a proper breakfast and try to drink a smoothie. At about 10:30ish on school days, I've deemed school days Tuesdays through Fridays. We always have 3-day weekends. I'm sorry, it's homeschool. I'm the teacher. I make the rules. It's how we function better. Again, balance. We work on schoolwork around 10:30ish, and I feel if I feel that the kids aren't engaging or that I'm low on patience, I will postpone schoolwork into the afternoon or to a different day, even if we aren't, if it just isn't working. Like sometimes the kids are just in a mood and don't feel like doing school or aren't paying attention or aren't engaged. And at that point, it we postpone it because it's not worth it. At about 11, I watch the news and then I chat on the phone while the kids play until about noon. And then around noon, I make them lunch. This is generally when they ask for electronics or ask to go for a walk. It kind of varies by the day, but most of our afternoons are a mix of electronics and outside time. We have dinner around 5 every night. With our meals, the kids generally pick what we're having, or I alter the meal to fit to our preferences or each of our preferences. We're all kind of picky. We always seem to find ourselves out for a walk in the evening. Less people are out. It's kind of a more peaceful time of day, and we're really enjoying our little quarantine adventures. It's the one time, not the one time, but it's a good time that we all get out together and I don't know, spend time. It's nice. And then I try to have the kids in bed around 8:30 each night. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. For instance, Dawson just went to bed 15 minutes ago, and it is 9:47 p.m. So it kind of varies, but I do my best. Our bedtime has been the same for years, though. They get their beds ready, they get their PJs on, they pick a snack and a book. I read the book while they eat their snack. We brush our teeth, they go to bed, they get about 15-20 minutes to talk to each other, and then it is lights out. Do they stop talking when I tell them that it's lights out? Not necessarily. But I am trying to do different things. Like tonight, I put Brooklyn to bed first, and she was out cold before Dawson went to bed. I'm just noticing how off my eyeliner is. It's because I just touched it up and I messed up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying. I'm learning. Anyways, totally off topic. If you're listening on Spotify, I apologize because you can't even see me. Maybe not apologize. Maybe that's a good thing. Anyways, um, so obviously that's kind of a rundown of my day. And obviously, having a mental illness also plays a part in my need for routine and structure, but I believe that it's something that's still very important to everyone, and especially in these times when there's not like a societal Monday to Friday kind of thing, or kind of routine going on. Not a lot of people are working. It's important to keep that schedule up. Um, so, where's the time for me in that daily routine? How does that provide balance in my personal life and with my emotions and etc.? Um, so when I wake up, that half hour is crucial to me. In order to feel emotionally stable and in control, I need to be able to fully wake up in the morning. Having that time to wake up is kind of my make it or break it for the day. I have my tea and my smoke and allow myself to kind of slowly come out of the sleepy days because I really struggle with being in that sleepy days because I don't feel 100% in control. So that is a huge positive to my day to have, you know, half an hour to myself in the morning to just get my crap together essentially mentally, which has made it easier and easier each morning, I will say, by having that routine. And then when I make the kids breakfast, I drink a smoothie. Why is that important? Why does that matter? Because I am terrible at eating. By consistently drinking a smoothie not long after I wake up, it increases my appetite throughout the day, which increases my food intake, which increases my energy levels. It's all a chain reaction. Same with things being in balance, it's all a chain reaction. If one thing's off, everything else will slowly start to disintegrate if you're not keeping yourself balanced. So notice how I said when I'm low on patience, I postpone doing schoolwork. It's not good for my body to get worked up and frustrated, and it is not worth it for the kids to have an impatient, grumpy teacher because neither of us are going to get anything out of that. They're not going to learn anything, and I'm just going to come out of it exhausted and frustrated, and they're not going to be happy. School is important, but so is timing, and that has become a huge, I don't know, focus for me is making sure that the timing is right just as much as the activities we're doing. And so after watching the news, I talk on the phone. That's extremely important to the social aspect of my life. Every morning I talk to someone on the phone. It's usually the same person. Sometimes it varies, but it's generally the same, like 3, 4 people. That adult interaction is so important to me. I would go crazy if I could only talk to a 4 and 5-year-old all day, just like anybody would. Um, the social interaction, especially with social distancing and the quarantine, is extremely critical to my day. You'll also notice that I am pretty carefree with screen time throughout our schedule. So obviously, I still deal with the mom guilt about the amount of time they're on their screens. But again, I feel that as long as they have that balance between walks, school, crafting, baking, playing, board games, whatever, that's what matters. This is a perfect opportunity to teach them moderation at a young age and implement it into their daily lives so they know what their limits are. So, as much as, yes, it is a bit of a struggle with screen time also saves me as a single mom, and it also teaches them a lot. They love watching science experiment videos and educational videos. So, I don't know, there's screen time can be an extremely positive thing, not just negative. The walks we go on are just as beneficial to me as they are to the kids. Walking and running have been two of my biggest coping mechanisms throughout my life. I've always loved the physical thought of being able to walk away from my problems, and I do that a lot. I just walk the aggression or sadness or happiness or whatever out. I like to walk, I like to run. So when we go on those walks, as much as it's getting energy out for the kids, they're exploring, they're having fun, it's also so beneficial to me in my mental health. So it just kind of goes hand in hand. Um, it brings me a sense of relaxation and peace, essentially. So, aside from the small things that I dedicate myself to throughout the day, I also do my best to set aside some time at night to focus on something that brings me joy, whether that's filming, editing, reading, drawing, painting, playing a video game, watching a movie, talking to a friend, whatever. As long as it brings me a sense of relaxation and peace, and I am intentionally taking that time for myself, it makes a massive difference in my day. Because if I don't take that little bit of time to work on myself or to not even work on myself, but give myself the attention that I deserve in the activities that I want to be doing or the hobbies I have that builds on my character, my personality, and makes me feel me, that's what's important. So I do my best to set aside time at night. Again, it's hard sometimes. Like tonight, Dawson went to bed very late. Um, but on the flip side of that, he sleeps in a little bit more in the morning. So I still take that time. I try to just have a little bit of intentional time each day with myself. Um, Along with all of these things, obviously, if you've read the title of the podcast, I smoke. So I find that smoking brings an extra sense of calm and patience to my life. As I've said in the past, I have used Ativan to try and deal with panic, and it just did not go well for me. And I find that smoking weed really does calm me down. And lately, I've been a lot more intentional about it. So when I go to smoke, I will set an intention or set a task for myself to do, and then I will go smoke and come back in and do that task or whatever I had planned to do. And it's made myself it's made me realize that I have strong dedication and I am capable of doing things, and I'm very creative when I try. And I've learned a lot of things about myself and explored different aspects of myself because I've intentionally taken this time to enjoy hobbies and do things that I enjoy doing. And again, that all adds to the balance because if I don't take that little bit of time for myself, I almost feel kind of run down and lose my sense of self because that's so easy to do when you're a parent and you're so wrapped up in everything that goes into being a parent and raising humans. So, yeah, those are kind of all of the kind of a rundown of my day, the things that I really enjoy putting my focus on and that I feel is important that I feel are important to put my focus on. Um, I since quarantine, and I in no way am saying that I'm thankful for COVID or anything, but I am very thankful that quarantine has gone the way that it has and that I have been able to cope through it the way that I have. And I feel that a lot of other people are coping through it really well too. And the mountains that I've come to or the walls that have gotten in my way have not been as big of an issue as I thought they were going to be. Any problems that I run into or personal hurdles that I'm having, I feel that I am healthy and calm and able to work through them in a proper manner instead of being so worked up with day to day things and friendships or relationships with people and just how busy life had gotten. And I'm thankful that I've had this chance to take a step back and really focus on myself and my children and our lifestyle. And yeah. All right, so now I'm kind of going to dive into the weekly check-in. Unfortunately, Carolyn's not here, but I guess I can give a little bit of an update. Like I said, she is crazy busy. So many things are happening in their lives right now, so many exciting things. So I will leave that to her to update the next time that she is on the podcast. She may be missing for a couple episodes, but that does not mean that the podcast is going to stop. It just means that I'm going to be exploring different avenues that I think I can, I don't know, dive into on my own that will be interesting. I hope that so far you guys have enjoyed this podcast and it hasn't been too boring. It's kind of hard not having a co host to bounce off of and talk to while I'm doing this. I'm just sitting here awkwardly talking to a camera, which you think I'd be good at because I make YouTube videos, but it never really gets easier, I'm going to be honest. Um, but yeah, so weekly check in this week for me, I am doing so well. So many things happened this week. We recorded last week. I'm not even sure when we recorded. We had recorded early and gotten 2 episodes done. So it's been at least a week, maybe a week and a half since we recorded. So over the last week, I have gotten in contact with my doctor. I have upped my dosage of my medication. I'm on quetiapine. I was on 50 milligrams before. I'm on 75 milligrams now. Um, Honestly, this is just my body getting used to the medication, and that's very typical to have to increase the dose after a certain amount of time. I've been on this medication for over 6 months now, so it's time for an increase in dosage. So I did that. I also got myself referred to a mood and anxiety clinic just so I can get proper counseling and really work through all of the things I need to work through because I've never had proper counseling in my life. And I'm so excited to be starting that journey and to be working on that because it's about damn time. It's been a decade, and I'm so excited to be taking this step in my mental health journey. And I'm so excited to be sharing it with you guys because these weekly check ins help me probably more than they help anybody else. I feel like it's keeping me accountable, and it's really nice to get feedback from you guys, and the messages and comments that we get from you guys, they're just really encouraging. So, yeah, I'm excited to be taking that step. I've also started. So, I've also, if you're watching this through a video and not through Spotify, I've started this book. It's called Mind Over Mood: Change How You Feel by Changing the Way You Think. It is by Dennis Greenberger and Christine A. Pedesky. They both are doctors with PhD. Um, Yeah, so I've started the first chapter of that. It is clearly going to be a long and hard road to work through it, but I think that that combined with counseling and self-help is really going to get me to the place that I want to be my happiest me and my best me, which I am already so on the way to being. My life is good, and bills are paid, and we have a roof over our head, and my kids are happy and healthy and intelligent, and I'm doing well. I feel stable. I have a hell of a community surrounding me, and I finally found, like I said, balance. And that might change. Obviously, I'm going to have struggles in the future that may knock me down, but things are so good and going so well, and I'm just thankful for that. After having a rough few weeks, I am thankful to be in the mindset that I'm in. And, you know, I'm thankful that I can pull myself out of moods like that, and that this bad few weeks wasn't a bad few weeks. It was just a couple days where I really had to be on top of myself about my mood and what I was thinking. And it was nothing more than that. Well, and it wasn't too much of a struggle more than that. And I'm thankful. And yeah, so that's been my week. Um, that's kind of all I have to talk about today, guys. This is going to be obviously a little bit of a shorter episode. I don't have Carolyn with me, and that takes away a lot of the conversation and the joking back and forth. And man, I miss her. This is hard to record without her. But as you guys can see, it is our 7th episode. I do have exciting news. We have over 100 followers on Facebook, which is so exciting. There are so many people that have messaged saying that they don't want to publicly subscribe or like because of the stigma surrounding it. And honey, that's okay. Follow us, listen. You know what? We're here to break that stigma so you don't feel that way. And until you do feel comfortable, just keep coming back, keep watching, because we love how much interaction and how much you guys are loving, I don't know, this little project that we've started. And it's like my little baby, and I'm really proud. And we hit 100, and that's so exciting. So if you guys have any ideas for future podcasts or anything that you would like us to talk about, definitely comment on any of our social medias, message us on any of our social medias. There's a SurveyMonkey link below that you can leave any anonymous questions or comments that you have. The next few videos may be without Carolyn. So if you guys would like more video-based content where I could do baking with cannabis, or I can bring other things into it video-wise, or if you know somebody that could be featured on the podcast, or if you yourself would like to be featured on the podcast, definitely message us. We would love to have you on here and love to hear your opinion and your thoughts on all of the things that we're talking about. So until then, I guess I'm going to fade into the nothingness all on my own. This isn't very fun when I'm by myself. We're just going to put like a picture of Carolyn, and then we're both, this is Carolyn. Oh, you're back. Welcome to our 7th episode. All right. And we're fading into the nothingness. Thanks for watching our 7th episode, guys, and we will see you next week. Bye. Oh man, that was awkward as fuck.